Hello and welcome. Today's guest, Beits Livneh, is the founder of Legal Technology Solutions. He has just returned from teaching CLE courses, and he's here today to share with you the top 3 security mistakes law firms are making. Hi, I'm Emily LaRouche. Are you ready to make the journey from lawyer to entrepreneur? Every week, I'm sitting down with people who have mastered the art of running a business and want to share with you the lessons they've learned along the way. Join me as we experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between as we learn, share, and grow together. Welcome to Share the Love. The technology is so hard to keep up with. It's always changing, and then you want to throw in some state bar rules into the mix. It could be too much for any one person to try and stay on top of. Thank goodness for Beits.
I'm flattered.
Beits, before we get started and you share these 3 important things that lawyers must be doing with their firms, I want you to share a little bit more about yourself with our viewers. So Beits is the quintessential picture of the American dream. He served in the Israeli military, he's worked in intelligence, and he got experience working with computers, networking, servers, that kind of thing. And then he decided to take a brave journey to the US and landed here with nothing more than $300 in his pocket and a dream.
Yep.
Recently, you've been ranked the #1 IT firm in the state of Arizona. How do you go from $300 in your pocket to #1 IT firm?
I think it took 3 things. Honesty, hard work, and staying true to your goals. This is really the bottom line of how I run my life and my business.
And rinse and repeat.
Exactly.
10 years later, here you are.
Almost 17 years.
17 years,
Yeah.
however many years.
So 17 years, a wife, 4 kids, and
Oh my
a lot of good friends and good people that honor me with their presence, just like you. So thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. And Beits is actually only 25 years old, but he has triplets, so that explains everything.
I'm 15, actually.
I can't believe you have a house of triplets, 4 kids. Oh my goodness, your poor wife.
Yeah, it's mostly her that suffers from it. But it's a fun thing when things go well, you know.
Yes, 3 times the fun, right?
Exactly.
All right, so I'm seeing a major shift in firms using cloud services. Do you think the cloud is more or less secure than the old way?
That's a great question. One of the biggest challenge that we have when people ask us, should we jump on the cloud train? It's hard to answer because most people don't understand that cloud is something that we've used for years. If you have an AOL account, for example, your emails are hosted on the cloud. You've used AOL 20 years ago or so. It is a cloud service. Gmail, Yahoo, everybody has an account that is cloud-based. So it's not just throwing the word cloud. And every time somebody says the word cloud, I feel like there should be fireworks in the background because it's such an overused phrase to scare people or to try to sell people some stuff. Cloud is basically an environment, a service, a solution that is not housed on your computer. It's housed somewhere else by someone else, mostly. So should you go to the cloud, quote unquote, you're probably already there. The question is, what benefits will you be looking for and what solutions you're trying to bring to your firm that might or might not be available on a cloud environment. For example, a billing system can be something you can purchase, old school CD, and you install it on your server or your computer, and you have a billing software in your office. You can back it up to the cloud if you wanted, but it's still in your office. You are the one hosting it. And obviously you have cloud bookkeeping solutions and cloud billing systems that you only need just a web browser and internet access. There is a convenience factor, there is security risks, there's a lot of things to consider. The first question that I like to ask people is, what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to not worry about backups? Are you trying to be in compliance? Are you trying to not have to worry about buying licenses? Are you trying to be scalable? Cloud is has a huge benefit for scalability. One day you have 5 people in your firm, and 2 weeks after that you get a huge case and you need 10 more data entry people or 2 paralegals. You don't want to buy computers, you don't want to buy licenses that might not be needed 4 months after that. So cloud solutions might bring that flexibility in terms of licensing. There's a lot of benefits to that. There's a lot of scares that are out there, and that's a whole different topic, obviously. But to answer your question, It's something we can talk about for 3 hours and still not get to any conclusion, because cloud can bring a lot of benefits. It can get you in a lot of trouble. And choosing the right cloud provider is one of the biggest points that I'm trying to make every time I talk to lawyers about what to do and what not to do. There's a lot of ethical related challenges out there, right? Should you hire a technologist or an IT company to help you migrate your data to the cloud and choose the right cloud provider, or should you just go with the flow and do what 500 other attorneys do, which, by the way, not necessarily mean that it's okay.
Well, let me ask you on that topic. I have quite a few clients who use Gmail, and Gmail's great, but I have heard that you should be using like a GSuite, something more secure, versus plain old Gmail for a firm. So does it make a difference?
How does Google make their money?
GSuite.
Well, they make peanuts off of GSuite.
Yeah,
but Google makes their money from collecting data from us and then advertising to us using the data that they collected. Google makes money from the data. The $5 a month that you pay them for the GSuite account, it doesn't move any parts in their company, right? They want your data. Now, how do they get your data and my data? Every email that is sent to us to a Gmail account and to your G Suite account, and the paid version, as I'm saying, keep in mind, guys, this is not just the free version that you get your information monitored by Google. The information that is being emailed to you and stuff that you email out goes through their server. They harvest that information and they look at, not really looking at it, but their database is trying to figure out what you're doing, who you are, what you do, so they can push ads to you later or sell that information to globally to other people.
So it sounds so conspiracy theory to me, but are they really mining? They have bots that just kind of pick up on keywords on our mail that's being transmitted?
That's how they make their money. The answer is yes. Now,
Wow.
here is the problem. Why do we care? Personally, I don't care. If I send my kids an email or my wife an email telling her I love her, which I do, so it's honest and it's technically efficient, I don't care if Google knows that I love my wife. But the problem is that if you're an attorney and you are sending information that is not a public record, it's not anything that anybody or anything out there should know about, you don't want to send it via an unencrypted method where someone, something is looking over it. So every time I teach those CLE classes at the State Bar, there's two topics that come up. One of them is Dropbox, which is by far the most popular document sharing and cloud storage. And the other thing is Google. Now, how do you not use Dropbox? It's so convenient, right? You are able to easily install it in your cell phone, and you can take a picture which uploads it and backs it up right away. And you can share information with your mom or grandpa, whatever it is, via email, via link, etc. But when it comes to work, when we come to attorneys that are actually looking into using that to share information or collect information from their customers, this is potentially a problem. The free version of Dropbox is not encrypted on the cloud itself. So if anybody with a link, if you send a link to somebody and anybody else gets their hands on that link, they can open that document because it's not password protected. The paid version of Dropbox is definitely secured, but most people don't see the reason to pay for it. Hey, I'm getting my 2 gigabytes of data. It is not something you want to do. And the State Bar will slap you on the wrist also. And think about the damage you can do when you actually get information of your customer out there and somebody got their hands on it.
So if you're going to use Dropbox, use the paid version.
I wouldn't use Dropbox for my business, but if you do, definitely invest that, what is it, $100 a year or something. You should be able to afford it because the cost of getting out of trouble from the bar is probably going to be higher.
Do you think it's better to store that kind of data in a practice management system like Lexicata and Clio?
Yes and no. Here's the problem. When you use Dropbox, for example, the information mostly is on your hard drive, on your computer, and it's also cloned to the cloud, right? To the Dropbox servers. Again, cloud, fireworks. So that information is available on your computer. Now, you're an attorney. You are so rich because you're an attorney. Everybody knows attorneys are blah, blah, blah. long story short,
They're all wearing
you are-
Rolexes.
exactly. If you want to take a vacation because you decide you want to have a life and you're going somewhere to your cabin because you are able to work remotely and all the information is out on Clio, for example, you don't have a copy of that information on your local hard drive. If you don't have internet access in the cabin that you're in, and there is no Wi-Fi over there, there's no Verizon or T-Mobile connection or data reception, you won't be able to do any work. So putting your information on a cloud management system that's only cloud-based is great, but it's also a pitfall when it comes to working remotely. When you have Dropbox or those solutions like Dropbox, you have the ability to work both locally and from anywhere else. So in the cloud, solutions like that should have the benefit, people should see the benefit of flexibility, but also there is some issues that come with it.
Okay. So does your firm, can it set up kind of virtual terminals so that everything's hosted on a server, it's all secure, and you guys kind of manage all of that?
Absolutely. Unfortunately for us, we're not the only ones that can do it. There's a lot of good technical people out there, a lot of good companies that are small and big. Amazon and Microsoft have their own solutions. Amazon have AWS, it's called Amazon Web Services. And Microsoft has their Azure services, it's their cloud servers. Both of those environments are very easy for people that have a little understanding on the technical side to set up a virtual server. I'll give you an example. One of our recent customers had a server in-house. It was saved in a small room, and they had to keep that room, the AC in that room, low at like 75 degrees, 24/7. There was, the little server room when you have network equipment and all that fun stuff. That's usually where the junk piles up, right? We put the extra monitors and everything else there. So they looked at their electricity bill and they realized that they're spending tons of money every year just to cool down that room because of one server that's sitting over there. It had to sit there because it has to be secured, it's locked, etc. They also wanted to start hiring people to work remotely. Virtual assistants, virtual phone services, virtual everything it's where I think most law firms are going because it makes sense in most cases. So they said, why do we need to keep that server over here? That's when they looked around for a new, more advanced IT company, and that's when we started working with them, and we actually took all of their equipment, all of their servers, everything that they had in that room is basically now on the cloud. So you can leverage Amazon Web Services, you can leverage the Microsoft Azure, you can host your own if you have the equipment, which is what we do. And the idea is they don't need to worry about cooling down, backing up, protecting, servicing. All of that is gone. That physical box is now scraped somewhere, and they're really taking advantage of no worries anymore. It's wonderful when you don't have to worry about that box. Who needs that?
Right. Well, what they don't have, other firms I should say, is Beits, who is, I'm sorry to say, a super nerd. He loves to do the research on all of the changing bar rules. Who wants to do that? Ew, you do. So you keep everything secure because it's what you love to do.
It's exciting and it's boring sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. It does take a certain commitment though. This is one of the things that I mentioned earlier, that honesty and the commitment. In order for us to really be the best IT consulting firm in the US for the legal field, we had to be different. We have to know what we're talking about when it comes to technology, not just about Dropbox and where to sign you up with a cloud solution, etc. Anybody can remove a virus. Anybody can install a printer, right?
You would think.
I can Google that right now and probably find 15 people in 5-mile radius over here that can actually help you or your firm. Now, the question is, are you looking for somebody that's going to teach you how to take advantage of your technology and what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do? Or you're looking for somebody just to put a Band-Aid on your problem? I'm not saying that there's no other good companies out there. There are many of them. But what we're trying to do different, and what I think your viewers should consider when they look for any professional, look for somebody who understands your your needs. Every business is different. A law firm cannot get the same technical advice as a manufacturing company. I'm not going to be able to give a financial advisor good advice because SEC compliance, for example, is not something we specialize in. But understanding what ethical ruling 1.1 and 1.6 are, this is one of our biggest focuses, because everything lawyers do and don't do when it comes to technology should be, if it's not, make sure it is, evolved around ethical ruling 1.1, 1.6. Every lawyer should know what that means. There are ethics lawyers out there that are teaching that all day long. Every state bar, contact your local state bar. I'm sure that your local bars will have on their website some CLE classes. If they don't, they should. They all have CLE classes when it comes to ethical rulings, etc. So it's important for you to educate yourself to know what you're allowed to, not allowed to do. And the problem that we see is, if we find people that are just looking to save a couple bucks because the other IT company is cheaper, it's usually the ones that don't understand how expensive that is later on to fix those mistakes. Because if you get hacked, if your data is breached, and if you didn't do what you needed to do because you didn't follow that ethical ruling 1.6, you didn't protect your customers' data, you didn't notify them, you didn't do your homework when it comes to hiring the right vendors, not just in technology, but anywhere, you can get disbarred, you can get fines. People get in trouble all the time by the ABA and their state bars. So it is real life solution that people tend to not realize.
So to save a penny, you could risk your entire livelihood. Not worth it.
My amazing 98-year-old grandpa, before he died, taught me something really, really smart. He said, I'm too poor to buy cheap stuff. It makes so much sense. You get what you pay for in most cases, and it doesn't have to be an expensive thing to get the best, but don't settle for your dog's neighbor's dog walker to do your IT because you know him and because he understands how to install a printer. That's not good technology advice. That's where ethical ruling 1.1 goes into place.
Okay, so Beits, I have some rapid fire questions for you. First thing that comes to mind, who is scarier, attorneys whose computers are not working, calling you up, or your triplets at 6 a.m.?
I can juggle my triplets any time of day, but here is the problem. I can be fired as an IT person by my customer. My kids are stuck with me, so mistakes with my kids will follow me for the rest of my life. It is scarier for me to make that mistake. Absolutely.
That's a good one. What is your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Meeting new people and educating. I love making connections. Everybody that knows me know that I'm out there all the time in networking groups, and I'm not going there to earn business or to sell my services. I'm going there because I love making connections. So as an entrepreneur, as somebody who built multiple companies up until now, I can tell you that if you're not out there networking and helping others build their businesses, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
Money will come, I think. If you do the right thing, money follows. But to me, it's all about making connections.
And I think we wouldn't even be sitting here today if it wasn't for networking. So when I decided to start a business and I got this crazy idea, talking to people terrified me, horrified me. But I saw an event that was happening and I decided to go. And it was the first thing I did. I didn't even have a business yet, but I went and I met the guy who put the event on, and his name is Mike Arce, and he is one of the co-founders of this production company. So 3 years later, this long journey has brought us right here, but that first networking event was horrifying, but Mike was awesome and made it look like it was fun and cool, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I can keep doing this.
Yeah, and it's really funny because attorneys that have to build their book of business, usually the smaller firms that don't have salespeople, they don't have marketing departments, they need to be out there, and most of them have no clue how to do that. They just go and try to find customers. So I'm not a marketing expert by any means. I just want to make sure that when somebody listens to us talking about networking, they realize how important that is to put their name out there. And if you're an attorney, and if you're producer, if you're a virtual receptionist, whatever you are, it is so important to be out there, to show your face and to do good for the community, because that's the only way people will give something
Right.
about you.
I know you all probably think I'm just cool as a cucumber here, but this is terrifying. It's horrifying being on TV. But you have to do it. And I said earlier, I do it for the baby. You have to protect the baby, you know? I know it's good for the business. I know it's the right thing to do. You put your face out there, you get uncomfortable, and you have to do it. So do you want to do a plug? Beits has a local networking group if you're in the Phoenix Valley and you are in the legal industry.
Right.
Tell us about that group.
So we have a group that meets usually on the last Tuesday of the month, and it's an afternoon kind of 5 to 7 group. There's no membership fees. We're not charging anybody any dues or whatever. We are simply interested in bringing like-minded people, which is another phrase that's overused all the time, but it is so true. When you surround yourself with people that want to help others, magic just happens. So that group of people is still fresh. It's about 1.5 years, 2 years old, and it started by 2 nice ladies named Leslie and Sue, and both of them cater to the legal field also. It is a wonderful opportunity for people that have services that can help lawyers. That's what our motto is. If your services can help lawyers and law firms, this is the place for you, because we all want to help lawyers and law firms. So that's about it. We have no website because we're doing it very unofficially, but contact me if you want to check it out. Again, we're trying to keep it very, very to the point of the right people. I don't want to ever get to the point that we're having, I don't want to give examples because I'm going to step on some people's
It's
toes,
cocktail hour, right? It's cocktails, it's getting to know each other, it's networking, it's not sales, selling your services, it's nothing like that. It's really
Right.
about genuine connections.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you want to make genuine connections, you're an attorney, or you offer legal services almost exclusively would be better, then check out the link below and come visit us at the group, because I'll be at the next one.
Cool.
And you'll be there too?
Absolutely.
All right, and last but certainly not least, what is one thing that you want lawyers to take away from today?
You have a responsibility to protect your customers' information. You have responsibility for your employees to have job security. If you make a mistake, if you don't follow the ABA and your local state bar regulations and rules and translations of the rules, you basically put all of those people, not just yourselves, in jeopardy. And it's a problem we see all the time. It's selfishness that doesn't come from selfishness. It comes from lack of understanding. So as a business owner, as a managing partner, as a person that has responsibilities to others, I can only speak on the technologic side. Do what you need to do to educate yourself to make sure you're not getting in trouble. Those risks are not going to get any simpler to notice or overcome. The hackers are getting smarter and smarter, and if we don't educate ourselves, we're going to be behind the curve, and all you need is just one hack. It's going to ruin your reputation forever.
And if studying that stuff puts you to bed, call Beits.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being here, Beits.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Share the Love. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play to get the latest content.